Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk a little bit about Kobe Bryant and the 8 others that passed away with him, his daughter included. And it's just a devastating time for Californians. I know a lot of people, myself included, grew up watching him playing basketball. I'm not a big basketball fan, but I know who he was, and that's kind of the impact that he's made on this, world. And it's kind of sad to see that, he only got to live till 41. Just recently he retired back in 2016, and I really feel like he started to do what he was really meant to be doing and really helping the youth kind of grow in the basketball community. Granted that he, won 5 NBA titles, he got to play basketball most of his life, which I'm grateful that he was able to do that. I think what he was doing right now was really what was kind of define him and kind of make him, that person that he wanted to be. So it's kind of sad to see that he's left us so early and, left behind 3 daughters, lost 1 daughter in the process. Kind of reminds me why, you gotta make sure that you guys kind of have a number in mind. Kobe Bryant was worth over $600 million, and I don't really think there was a number in particular that he had in mind. It was more about, just being able to play basketball for as long as he can. And he finally got to enjoy that 4 or 5 years of retirement that he had near the end of his life. And it goes to show you that, life is really short. And so you got to make sure that if you're going to work today and you're thinking, you hate your job, maybe today's that day you go and do something about that. That initial plunge is probably the hardest thing, even for me starting this channel. There are so many barriers in the way, and video software and editing and planning and all that. And you know what? Once you start doing it, it actually isn't so bad. So you guys are a Kobe fan, let this be a reminder to you guys that, today's the day to, make a change, because you never know what's going to happen. And, if you're looking to start a new career or looking to finish your college degree or trying to buy your first house or trying to pay down all your debt, you got to start somewhere, and you got to start before it's too late. You got to stop worrying about what people think about you and, just go ahead and do it. And one thing I learned about what people think about you, it really doesn't even matter at the end of the day, because if you decide to quit your job or you decide to go do something else, it doesn't really affect them, right? Because 1, they're not paying your bills, you're paying your bills. 2, if you fail, it doesn't affect them either, because they're not the ones that are going to bail you out. So it's best to just ignore what they have to say, or what they're saying about you for doing what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, they're probably just envying that you have the courage to do what you're trying to do. So make sure whatever you're trying to do, it kind of defines who you are, so you can leave a legacy behind, so that way you have no regrets. And when you look back and you say, I'm so glad I left that job, or I'm so glad I started this, new business, or I'm so glad I started this YouTube channel, whatever it may be, you don't want to regret it. So, and you don't want to do it when it's too late as well. So this is kind of that moment in time where, you got to think hard. And, if you've been at your job for a long time, you've been dissatisfied, or you've been working a low-paying job for a long time, maybe it's time to learn that new skill and kind of elevate your career. And I'm sure one thing that Kobe will say to everybody is, he got to enjoy most of his life doing what he loved to do, and that was to play basketball. And he even got the chance to retire, and he has influenced pretty much everybody around the world. So this is a big loss for humanity, and we've just started the decade, and it's kind of devastating to know that someone like him is gone so soon. But that just goes to show you that, you got to start now, because if you don't give yourself enough time, you may never be able to build that legacy that you want to build. Now, some of you may be thinking like, okay, life is short, I might as well just not try anything. I might as well just try to live my life. But I think that's the wrong way of thinking, because you're just going to end up in the same place you're at. And, statistically, you're probably going to live longer than you think. And you probably don't want to set yourself up where you're going down a path where you're not satisfied with your life, because you're thinking you're going to die young or something like that. Kobe's case, he wasn't thinking that. That's why he was grinding every day. That's why he was doing what he was doing. So hopefully this is motivation for you guys to go out there and, do whatever you want to do and start doing it today. The hardest part is the upfront work. Just like everything, it's always hard to start something new. And once you get into it, you actually realize it's not that bad. Because when you start something new, everything is new and you have to learn everything. So when I first started this channel, everything was new to me, and I had to learn how to do video editing. I had to learn how to do cutting. I had to learn what lower thirds were. I had to learn what an outro was. I mean, there's so much, and at the end of the day, really, I didn't really care about any of that stuff. I just wanted my videos to be out there so I can help people. And I told myself, my videos are gonna be all crap in the beginning, which is completely fine with me. And down the road, as things get better, as people start finding me, then maybe I'll put the effort in to improve that. But I think the content is more important than, dealing with all of that stuff, because you're never gonna have the perfect setup. That's why I like starting with something small. To me, less is better, and the less things you have, the less things you have to set up. And as you go along, you'll start to learn new things and you'll start to improve your quality. So if you guys are starting a new business or a new venture or a new career, just remember it's going to be really hard in the beginning, maybe for the first 3 months. But once you get through that, it'll be a lot easier. So this death of Kobe and the 8 others, and even recently, a couple years ago, we lost Paul Walker, just goes to show you that life isn't about working for other people or making a lot of money. It really is just, at the end of the day, it's about doing what you love to do, spending time with your family, and making sure that you live a fulfilling life. You can see a lot of people who don't have a lot of money are actually pretty happy, and there are a lot of people that have a lot of money that are miserable. So that goes to show me that money isn't everything. And yes, it gives you financial securities, it gives you a roof over your head, but at the end of the day, it doesn't take much to be happy. So if you guys are unhappy, I challenge you guys to go out there and kind of figure out what you want to do and just go do it. The money won't be there initially, so hopefully you guys have some emergency funds so you can kind of do this venture. And worst case, if you fail, you can just go back to your old job. You're gonna probably leave in good terms, and you'll be able to go back. But this way you can go and take that plunge, and hopefully it'll pay off in the long term. So Kobe, rest in peace with your daughter, and to the other 7 people that lost their lives in that crash, rest in peace. And to the rest of you guys that lost people at an early age, hopefully you guys are fighting through this and using this as motivation to kind of move forward. I know that when I lost my grandma a couple years ago, and my father-in-law and my uncle, that was a big eye-opening for me, because it just goes to show you that I'm getting to the age where people around me are starting to lose their lives, and it's starting to affect me. And it's just reminding me that I need to start now if I'm going to do something, because at some point you're going to get too old where either life gets in the way, or you're too old, or your health gets in the way. And right now I think that time is for me. So hopefully this is a good takeaway for you guys to kind of overcome your fears and kind of take that plunge to do what you like. And even if it doesn't, there are smaller goals you can set for yourselves. And the most important thing is to make sure that you set goals that are attainable in the short term. And you kind of just tackle things one day at a time. Alright guys, have a nice day, and I'll catch you in the next one.